Scouts. Building courage, confidence, character.
I'm Suzanne McFarland. My Girl Scout experience started when I was a freshman in high school and I was living in Burlingame, Kansas. And the first year that we had Girl Scouts was also first Girl Scout National Roundup that was ever to be held. It was going to be in Pontiac, Michigan. I have a picture of our group right here, and we are trying to have a reunion of the 8 girls from Kansas, and we're located just about everybody, and so we're going to try to do that this year, and we'd like to do that. Here's the patch, and I also found my dog tags, and I happen to have the one souvenir of equipment that I still have, and that is a holder for our waterproof matches, and that would be considered an antique right now. I don't think you can find those anywhere. Moved to Ada, Oklahoma, and had some children, and we found out that there were several of us living here in Ada that had been former Girl Scouts, so we got together and in 1972 started a Girl Scout neighborhood here in Ada. I happen to have a handbook from the 1940s. The promise for Girl Scouts has changed a number of times over the years, but the law has not. There was a group of badges in the area of agriculture, a group of badges in the area of homemaking, and a group of badges in the out of doors, as well as citizenship and some of those. But you don't find many badges right now in the area of agriculture. In fact, today, some of the newest programs that we have to do with anti-bullying and helping girls build their self-esteem. Today we say that the basic tenets of Girl Scouting is to build character, courage, and confidence. Actually, those are the things that the original Girl Scout troops were trying to do. They just didn't use those particular terms.
So the things about Girl Scouting that I remember, the things I think Girl Scouting gave to me are 2 or 3. One of them were that Girl Scouting gave me real confidence in myself and the things that I could accomplish. But it did it in some ways that I remember that you got individual accomplishments, but you did them with other people. So that some of the badges I remember getting were for things like ice skating and cooking, and we did them as a group, but we got badges for them, and that was real important. Lots of individual accomplishments too, but I remember the things we did as a group that were fun. And Girl Scouts went places and did things, and when I was a kid I really appreciated all of the things that my adult leaders took us to and made sure that we experienced. I'm appreciative now of how much time those adult leaders invested in making sure that girls had something to do after school and places to go.
I'm Elaine Rhines, and I have a long history in Girl Scouting. As a young girl, traveling around the country with my parents, moving from Washington State to Oregon, to California, to Kansas, to Texas, and Oklahoma, I experienced many different Girl Scout troops. And in each community that we moved into, I felt a little bit at ease just knowing that I would find friends, my friends, in Girl Scout troops all across the country.
My name is Elizabeth Ward. I live in Ada, Oklahoma, and I lead a Girl Scout troop I'm a co-leader of a Girl Scout troop in Allen with my sister. We started doing this for my niece, who is a brownie age, and wanted to get more involved with her friends and just that community there at Allen.
I'm Leonda, and my daughter Hannah and I have been participating in Girl Scouts. This is our 2nd year. And among all the wonderful opportunities that we get to be a part of, we learn how to work with other girls and moms toward goals, toward trips and travel, and learn a lot about collaborating with other people and raising our own money and having a goal and working toward it together.
Well, my past experience with Girl Scouting has been that my daughter was in it for a few years, but mostly I was raised in 4-H, and my kids were raised in 4-H. So I've gotten involved in Girl Scouting, being a daisy leader with my 3 little granddaughters and several other little girls, and I just am really excited about Girl Scouting. The fact that it's not competitive like 4-H. They're not so much competing against other kids, but they're competing against themselves to see how much they can achieve as a person, you know, what all they can be just themselves without that strong competitive thing against other kids. And I'm just really excited about the things that my granddaughters are learning in Girl Scouts.
My daughter's 3rd year as a Girl Scout, and I wasn't in Girl Scouts when I was young, and so it's been a learning experience for me also to learn with my daughter. I also coordinated the He and Me banquet that is for the Girl Scout and her father, as a chance for them to have a little memory with their dad.
One great thing about Girl Scouts is the family relationships that you can strengthen through involvement in Girl Scouts. My dad, when I was a kid, my dad was an insurance salesman, and he was gone until late every night. I didn't see my dad except on the weekends, and he was kind of a stranger to me. But we had a father-daughter banquet that my daddy took me to, and I had on my little beanie and my white gloves, and he, for some reason, had come home that night with a demo car, a little Carmen Ghia that he might get. And I remember going to that father-daughter banquet, and it's the first time my daddy had taken me anywhere without my mother. I remember sitting in that car, and we were at a stoplight in Oklahoma City, and I looked over, had my beanie on, looked at those people in that little sports car, and I thought, I bet they think I'm on a date. But it was neat, and I always remember that. It was the first time my dad ever did anything with just me. It was really special.
We had at the time a daddy-daughter banquet, if you will, and we would sit around the table, all 3 of us girls, and we would be decorating our boxes so that we could take our father to a daddy-daughter dinner. Well, at the time, Jeannie, my oldest sister, got to take Dad the first year, and I remember I had to take Melvin Pieper, who was our neighbor, which Melvin was a great guy, but she got to take Dad. And then the next year, Becky, we were all decorating our boxes, and she was bragging she got to take Dad, and again, I took Melvin Pieper. And the 3rd year, just as I was getting ready to take my dad, we moved to Oklahoma, where they didn't have Girl Scouts at the time.
Girl Scouting was important to our family because I have 2 girls, and I thought that this was the best extracurricular activity for them because of their promise and their law and the things that it teaches and empowers and encourages girls to do with their future.
As a Girl Scout, I learned about the importance of community outreach and about the importance of being a leader in the community. And it's one of the things that helped me to become interested in working in the community and probably influenced my career goals of being a public health nurse.
Another thing that Girl Scouting did was it gave me it echoed values I was getting in my faith community about the importance it was to give back to a community. It emphasized service. It emphasized that we had a responsibility to play whatever role we had, but we had a responsibility to give back. And so it emphasized that. And I still value that training, early training, in a sense that I was part of a community and I had a role to play in that.
Well, currently I'm in the healthcare industry as CFO of Valley View Regional Hospital here in Ada, Oklahoma. And one of the things when asked, how did Girl Scouts and the Brownies program in particular, because that's what I was in, how does it help me with my job today? Well, working in the healthcare industry, it's all about service. And I can remember we had to learn to share. We had to learn to be patient. We also learned a structure of sorts. We couldn't speak when other people were speaking, for example.
Well, I think the most exciting thing for me in Girl Scouts was just having the opportunity to do many things that I would have never had a chance to do. And one of the most fun things that I remember doing is that we went camping. And of course, the weekend that we decided to go camping, it rained, it was cold, we froze. We didn't have tents, we just had sleeping bags on the ground. And again, it was an activity I never would have gotten to do. It was camping, but it was just a fun memory now. Not then when I was freezing to death. And of course we did the campfire and the s'mores and singing, and so it just was a great event.
But Girl Scouts was so awesome. I enjoyed being able to go on camping trips and hunting for arrowheads and learning how to cook on campfires, and I learned so much through Girl Scouts.
Another thing that's really sticks in my mind a lot was our first scouting camp out. And our first camp out was in a cornfield because it was Iowa. And I remember that we were sitting there and we kept hearing these noises in the middle of the night. And it was the cows that the farmer had let through. So I remember camping. Right now I am a professor at East Central University, and I teach in rehabilitation counseling program. And I was a rehabilitation counselor, which works with people with disabilities to make them as independent as they possibly can. And when I reflect back upon the Girl Scout situation, I remembered that there was a girl in my troop that I became very good friends with that used Canadian crutches. She had polio. So I often wonder what the impact of my friend in Girl Scouts made on my life as a rehabilitation counselor.
I can still remember lugging those boxes of cookies door to door. In those days, we didn't take order forms. We took the cookies themselves door to door. So it gave me a sense that I needed to be able to talk to adults. I needed to be able to handle money. I needed to be able to have a way to present an organization and myself as a representative of it in a way that would be persuasive and calm and clear. And while no one could do that these days, unfortunately the world has changed a little, it was still valuable training for a whole lifetime of a career and just a way of being in the world that I think scouting still gives to girls.
I love cookie time. I love Girl Scout cookies. Just with my daughter, going door to door this cookie season is totally different than last year. And I know in just my daughter, she's changed and grown to be able to talk to people, to ask people, to speak louder to people, to look them in their eye, just those type of, basic skills that we need for, life.
One of our favorite part of scouting that has followed us throughout our whole life was the songs that we learned in Brownies and then later as Junior Scouts. And we used to delight. Oh, of course, we would delight our father. Yes. With every time we took road trips, we would sing the whole time. And some of our favorite songs were scouting songs.
Especially the pocket.
The pocket one, I've got something in my pocket, it belongs across my face, and I'll keep it very close at hand in a most convenient place. I'm sure you'll never guess it if you guess a long, long while. So I'll take it out and put it on, it's a great big brownie smile. And then our other...
Isn't that sad that we know that after 30 years?
20 years.
Thunder, Thunder Nation, we are the Girl Scouts. Operation when we work with determination, we create a real sensation. Thunder, Thunder Nation, we are the Girl Scouts. Operation when we work with determination, we create a real sensation. Thunder, Thunder Nation, we are the Girl Scouts. Operation when we work with determination, we create a real sensation. Thunder, Thunder Nation, we